Woo, a little spicy too. This is some good stuff. Who knew chili on Florida's Forgotten Coast? Oh, hey everybody, this is Captain Finn, your favorite captain by the way, and today on How to Forgotten Coast Like a Local, we're gonna be showing you all the delicious food events that happen year-round on Florida's Forgotten Coast. Hey, you heard the dogs, they like it too, so let's get to eating. Today, I'm here at the Chili Cook-Off on St. George Island, one of the many food events that we have throughout Franklin County. You heard, the dogs like it too. Now, if you didn't know it, Florida's Forgotten Coast is the place to be for the best food events in the Southeast. Now, of course, you know we have some of the freshest local seafood anywhere, but did you know we've got something for everyone? Now, we got seafood, we got barbecue, we got beer, and yes, we got chili. And let me tell you about some of the tastiest events on Florida's Forgotten Coast.
Now, our food events kick off in the month of January with the Oyster Cook-Off, which is a benefit for the Apalachicola Volunteer Fire Department. Now, this annual event is held the Saturday before Martin Luther King Jr. Day in downtown Apalachicola at Riverfront Park. And all proceeds go directly towards paying for the purchase and upkeep of fire trucks and equipment. The event features a silent auction and all kinds of oysters, shrimp, hot dogs, hamburgers, local beer, live music, kids' activities, dance performances, and a 5K run. And you can also enter your best recipe and be a contestant in the Oyster Cook-Off, or just come out and enjoy a day of wonderful food, refreshment, and music. The third weekend in January brings the annual Butts and Clucks Cook-Off on the Bay, held in Battery Park and Apalachicola. And this two-day event features some of the best barbecue cooks in the nation, and it's a Florida Barbecue Association sanctioned event. In 2023, it was featured on the Food Network in the show Barbecue USA with Michael Simon. Competitors in the event compete for cash and prizes in categories including chicken, ribs, pork butt, and brisket. And the winners qualify for the Jack Daniels Invitational. And there are several other competitions during the event, including a barbecue sauce competition, deviled egg contest, mystery box challenge, and even a People's Choice category where you, the visitor, gets to pick the winner. And local and regional food vendors are also on hand, serving up some of their famous barbecue dishes.
Well, you might be wondering what Captain Finn is doing with an umbrella and a raincoat. Well, when you're here on the Forgotten Coast and you're going to food events, especially when they're outdoors, you never know what's going to happen. But we had to take a little break and come back to me so I could do a little ditty for you, because I felt compelled to do it today because of the weather we've been having. So I'm gonna give you a little bit. We're singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. That's about all I can do for you. Didn't know Captain Finn could sing, huh? Shut up over there, it's not finger licking good just yet. You see people talking to me? They gotta bother me when I'm doing my stuff. But we're gonna get back to everything happening right here on Forgotten Coast, because there's lots of food events and you want to see more. I can feel it.
In the month of February is the SGI Shrimp Fest. This family and community-oriented festival is a one-day event offering patrons great outdoor musical entertainment, a fair way of games for the children, and a chance to dine on the freshest and most delicious local shrimp dishes in the area. The SGI Shrimp Fest is the only fundraiser for the St. George Lighthouse Association, a Florida nonprofit organized to preserve, maintain, and promote the Cape St. George Lighthouse. Early spring brings us two events in March, the annual Chili Cook-Off on St. George Island and the Rib Cook-Off in East Point. The SGI Chili Cook-Off happens the first weekend in March on St. George Island and raises money for the St. George Island Volunteer Fire Department. This annual event kicks off with local golf tournament at the St. James Bay Golf Course and features cash prizes for a hole-in-one and prizes for the top 3 teams. And there's also an online auction where you can bid on great art, rental homes, and other wonderful items. On Saturday of the cook-off, there's a 5K red pepper run, plus the main event in the center of the island with an international chili cook-off competition with teams competing from all over the Southeast for the title of Chili Cook-Off Champion and an entry into the World Chili Cook-Off. There's also food sales, retail booths, and a partner event, Chili Crawl. If you love chili or the beach, this is the place to be.
I love chili!
The third weekend in March brings the Rib Cook-Off in East Point, another great event benefiting the East Point Volunteer Fire Department. Come and enjoy some tasty ribs, pulled pork, and smoked chicken, all cooked by the local firefighters. And I can say it is good. Now, there's also live music, a silent auction with great items to bid on, and the infamous Liars Contest. If you think you're a good fibber, this event is not to be missed. And I know a few people that should enter that competition. Just say it. Teams compete for cash prizes and awards, and winning the contest is one of the highlights for most local barbecue cooks. Not because of the money or the trophy, but the bragging rights of having the best ribs on the Forgotten Coast.
Oh, yeah, they got some nice-looking racks of ribs on this grill, let me tell you. Wish Captain Finn could cook some ribs, but I can barely boil water. But there is one thing I do pretty well. I can cook you a cheeseburger in paradise. So if you want one of those, you come see Captain Finn, and you're going to enjoy it, too.
If you love beer and food, then the month of April, you want to be in our beautiful piece of paradise for the SGI Brewfest. Now, the Brewfest benefits the Franklin County Humane Society, which houses, feeds, and provides lots of love to our homeless dogs and cats. You can come and sample some of the best beers from around the Southeast, including places like Georgia, Alabama, Florida, and our very own homegrown Oyster City. Now, there's also a food truck court with a variety of food options available. Beer and helping our local furry friends, that sounds like an event for Captain Finn. Now, you remember earlier when I told you about the Liars competition? Well, yours truly entered and won that competition. I told him the story about the time I saw that great white shark that almost made me poop my wetsuit. Well, it was a lie, but they loved the story anyway, and I took home the top prize. Just another trophy to sit next to my Florida Flagler Award for season 1 of my show. The Pink Out Pork Off is held annually on Labor Day on St. George Island. The locals dish up some delicious fare at Patty's Raw Bar to raise money for the Pink Out. And this small get-together of locals from SGI and around Franklin County compete and raise money to help fund the Pink Out event for breast cancer awareness held every October on the island. Now, the granddaddy of all food events on the Forgotten Coast is the annual Florida Seafood Festival held in Apalachicola the first weekend in November. The Seafood Festival is Florida's oldest maritime event and features fresh local seafood including oysters and shrimp, mullet, and food vendors from around the region. There's something for every taste bud at this event, including some sweet treats too. It even has an oyster eating and shucking contest. If you can slurp down more than a dozen and have what it takes to be the champ, and just have a love of oysters in general, this is your event.
Yeah, that's looking good. Boy, I gotta tell you, seeing all this great food and all these great food events that we have on the Forgotten Coast, it is making me hungry. And actually, I ate a lot of chili earlier, and I'm getting a little thirsty, so it's gotta be 5 o'clock somewhere. About time for a beer and maybe one of those cheeseburgers in paradise, as they like to say. So if you wanna find out about all the tasty food events that we got on Florida's Forgotten Coast, head on over to our website, floridasforgottencoast.com, and that's where you're going to find all the information that's certainly going to whet your appetite. So we'll see you on the next edition of How to Forgotten Coast Like a Local. Now I got to get back to cooking. See y'all later. Feel like John Wayne, you know, when he used to sit up there on his horse, Rio Lobo and everything. Yeah, the cowboys. I feel like the Duke, but look what I'm sitting on, a pig. Can you believe it? Well, I'm gonna hitch Hitch a ride on this pig to the next event happening here on Florida's Forgotten Coast.
All right, everybody. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. That's a wrap.